Tonight's steak only looks fancy because one of the most important parts of this dish started out pretty humble. And by the end of tonight, you'll understand why it's here. So why don't you stay and have dinner with me? I'm starting with a flat iron steak. It's relatively inexpensive, cooks up so tender, and who doesn't love that in a steak? I salted it last night, and I'm holding back on the pepper for now because I don't want it burning in the pan. And I'm flipping it frequently because it gives me the medium rare I love without that thick gray band around the outside. I'm pulling it at around 125 degrees and giving it a good rest. So let's talk about that humble part of this dinner. A couple of days ago, I made the bread for that evening. Yesterday, it was waiting for a sandwich. And this morning, what was left was starting to dry out. And that's when the idea for tonight's dinner started coming together. Now, hang on. It's not what you think. I'm not making croutons. I'm making that bread part of a steak dinner. And this time of year, I'm not reaching for peppercorn sauce, compound butters, or heavy steakhouse sides. I want something lighter that still feels like steak, but belongs in June. So instead of building a steak and a side dish, I started building a dinner where everything just works together. If you're new here, welcome to Marty's Herbie Kitchen. This is where I show up every week for people who still enjoy cooking from scratch and maybe need a little inspiration to make dinner feel special again, even if it's only once a week. For the bread to become part of dinner, it needs a little help. Tomatoes are the first step, and salting them releases their juices. The full recipe is in the description, but here it's really about why these pieces work together. And this part really matters because they're the very first flavor the bread is going to take in. Now I also need the handshake, and that's when all the ingredients know each other and belong together on the plate. You'll see what I mean. Maybe you're chimichurried out, or just need a break from cowboy seasoning. I have a bright fresh salsa for that. It starts with one ingredient that makes people a little nervous. And yes, it's a small anchovy. Now before you say ew, because I can hear you, nobody ever takes a bite and says, yuck, there's anchovy in here. It's not here to announce itself. It's here to give the dressing structure. Then I'll add a handful of capers, fresh herbs, garlic vinegar, and oil to loosen it up. It's an adaptive salsa, so feel free to play around with it. Just make it taste good for you. Now some of it is going on the steak, and some of it's going into the bread that's already been soaking up the tomato juices. See? That's where the handshake starts. But I also need something crisp and fresh on the plate. So I went to market and found these little gems. But don't get hung up on the lettuce. Use what you love. The Salsa Verde doesn't care. By now the bread has taken in the tomato juices and the vinaigrette. And suddenly that humble loaf is becoming something entirely different. If you've never had panzanella before, it began as a simple summer meal, a way to use leftover bread when it was too hot to cook. And that's exactly why it belongs here. Now everything on the plate works as one dinner. So don't let the fancy looks fool you. It's really flat iron and yesterday's bread. Not bad for humble beginnings. I'm glad you stayed. Thanks for joining me this evening. I'll see you at the next table.